Did you know in the books, Shae never loved Tyrion, and the evidence for this is in his conversations with her and how he spoils her with jewels, silks, and a manse. However, when she loses these things after Tyrion is no longer hand, there is a marked difference in her attitude towards Tyrion. It also makes sense that this is why Tywin hated Tyrion, because, like him, Tywin also has a weakness for working girls and treats them so horribly when he gets the chance. And when Tyrion kills Shae, she pleads with him like a scared 18-year-old girl, afraid to be murdered, which is what Tyrion does to her. So that's all Shae was, a young girl in over her head with an ugly older dwarf man as her sugar daddy, and saying whatever she had to keep them both happy. So it's not really fair to blame her for doing what Tyrion was paying for. Books. Shae is roughly 18 years old and stands just a bit taller than 5 feet, making her 1 foot taller than Tyrion. She possesses a slender and attractive figure with striking, dark, and expressive eyes complemented by her short, dark hair. Her smile is versatile, easily transitioning from a shy and innocent expression to one that's insolent and mischievous. Shae has a penchant for luxurious attire and jewelry. For instance, in the second book, Tyrion lodges her in an opulent manor. However, when Tyrion decides to assign her to work in the kitchens for her own safety, her annoyance becomes evident. She becomes increasingly frustrated upon realizing that she won't be returning to the lavish manor, but instead must serve as Lolly's maid. The show had it be Sansa. Shae doesn't hold back in expressing her disdain, often speaking very cruelly about lollies behind her back to Tyrion. In the books, Shae's confession on the witness stand was way more humiliating. Here is what she told everyone. "He made me do such shameful things." Prince Oberyn looked curious. "What sorts of things?" "Unspeakable things." A tear rolled slowly down her pretty face. "With my mouth and other parts, my lord. All my parts. He used me every way there was, and he used to make me tell him how big he was. My giant, I had to call him. My giant of Lannister." Oswyd Kettleback was the first to laugh. Boris and Mirren joined in. Then Cersei, Sir Loras, and more lords and ladies than he could count. The sudden gale of mirth made the rafters ring and shook the Iron Throne. "It's true," Shae protested. "My giant of Lannister." The laughter swelled twice as loud. "I saved you all," Tyrion thought. "I saved this vile city and all your worthless lives." In the books, after Cersei threatens to harm Ros, who she believes is Tyrion's whore, Tyrion returns to his bedchamber to find Shae cross-legged in his bed, nude but for the heavy golden chain that looped across the swell of her breasts. A chain of linked golden hands, each clasping the next. Tyrion had not expected her. "What are you doing here?" Laughing, she stroked the chain. "I wanted some hands on my but these little gold ones are cold." For a moment he did not know what to say. How could he tell her that another woman had taken the beating meant for her, and might well die in her place should some mischance of battle fell Joffrey? However, the gold chain that Shae is wearing is what the Hand of the King wears, and it is what Tywin puts around her neck after bedding her, and eventually what Tyrion will use to strangle her to death. Which shows how much George R.R. Martin loves to foreshadow. In the books, Tyrion knows that Shae doesn't actually love him, but convinces himself that she does. Shae grinned that wicked grin Tyrion liked so well. "Be quiet and kiss me," he commanded. He could taste the wine on her lips, pressed against him as her fingers moved to the lacings of his breeches. "My lion," she whispered when he broke off the kiss to undress. "My sweet lord, my giant of Lannister." Tyrion pushed her towards the bed and got inside of her. She screamed loud enough to wake Baelor the Blessed in his tomb, and her nails left gouges in his back. He'd never had a pain he liked half so well. "Fool," he thought to himself afterward, as they lay in the center of the sagging mattress amidst the rumpled sheets. "Will you never learn, dwarf? She's a whore, damn you. It's your coin she loves, not your Remember Tysha?" Sadly, Tyrion will be proved right during his trial for Joffrey's murder. In the books, Shae doesn't attack Tyrion when he sees her in Tywin's chamber. In the show, Shae looks to attack him first, which makes Tyrion's look like a case of self-defense. In reality, Tyrion straight up her in the books after seeing her on Tywin's bed. It's an important detail as it truly shows the beginning of Tyrion's descent into his dark side, which the show doesn't explore at all. In the books, did Tywin sleep with Shae before Tyrion? We know Tywin was secretly sleeping with Shae after Tyrion's trial, but how long was this relationship going on? It's interesting to note that Tywin makes his camp around the inn where Tyrion meets Shae. Bronn found Shae and introduced her to Tyrion, and later on, Tywin is with Shae. So with all that said, was Shae a prostitute in the inn, and did Tywin sleep with her before Tyrion and his clansmen arrived? In the books, the roles are reversed, and it's actually Tyrion who is jealous of Shae flirting with other knights. One person in particular is Simon Silvertongue, who is a singer and later threatens to sing a song about him and Shae to Cersei. It is implied that Tyrion has Simon killed by Bronn and made into food. Bronn later refers to a pot shop in Flea Bottom that makes a savoury bowl of brown, with all kinds of meat in it, and Tyrion even refers to it later on a singer's stew. In the books, there is a great irony in Tywin Lannister's threat to Tyrion when he said, "The next I find in your bed, I'll hang." In the end, it was actually Tywin, hand of the king at the time, sleeping with a in Shae. And as we all know, Tyrion ended up choking her to death, which is similar to a hanging in that you are strangled to death, but instead of a rope, it was a chain. In the books, we actually get an admission from Tyrion Lannister that he is in fact in love with Shae despite their monetized arrangement. "I'm free of Tysha now," he thought. "She's haunted me half my life, but I don't need her anymore. No more than I need Alalea or Dancy or Marie, or the hundreds like them I've bedded with over the years. I have Shae now." Later on, when they're making love, Tyrion thinks, the wars, the intrigues, the great bloody game, and me in the center of it. Me, the dwarf, the monster, the one they scorned and laughed at. But now I hold it all. The power, the city, the girl. This was what I was made for, and gods forgive me, but I do love it. And her, and her. Sadly, unlike in the show, Shae never loved Tyrion, and he would realize this during his trial where he never sent her away. In the books, there's a moment where Tyrion Lannister actually slaps Shae for mocking him. "I was expressly forbidden to take you to court by your stupid father," Shae pouted. "You're old enough to keep all the you want. Does he want you to take a beardless boy? What could he do? Spank you?" He slapped her. "Not hard, but hard enough." "Damn you," he said. "Damn you, never mock me, not you." For a moment, Shae did not speak. The only sound was the cricket, chirping, chirping. "Beg pardon me, lord," she said at last, in a heavy wooden voice. "I never meant to be impudent." "And I never meant to strike you," Tyrion thought. "Gods be good, am I turning into Cersei?" Tyrion then goes on to confess the story of Tysha to Shae, which the show had take place in Season 1 with Bronn and Shae before the Battle of the Green Fork. In the books, Shae offers to be Tyrion Lannister's official lady, but when Tyrion says it couldn't be possible because it wasn't safe, she suggested killing Cersei. "My love for you shames me enough. A sweet dream, Shae. Now put it aside, I beg you. It can never be. Because of the Queen? I'm not afraid of her either." "I am." "Then kill her and be done with it. It's not as if there were any love between you." Tyrion sighed. "She's my sister. The man who kills his own blood is cursed forever in the sights of gods and men. Moreover, whatever you and I may think of Cersei, my father and brother hold her dear. I can scheme with any man in the Seven Kingdoms, but the gods have not equipped me to face Jaime with swords in hand." It is sad that Tyrion's love for Jaime is actually what prevented Tyrion from ever just killing Cersei. In the books, it was Lord Varys who suggested to Tyrion Lannister to have Shae be a handmaiden for Lolly Stokeworth. Prior to that, Tyrion was considering have Shae work in the kitchen for her safety, but Shae didn't want to because she thought it was beneath her. "It might be that there is another way," Varys said. "As it happens, the maidservant who attends Lady Tanda's daughter has been filching her jewels. Were I to inform Lady Tanda, she would be forced to dismiss the girl at once.
and the daughter would require a new maidservant. I see. This had possibilities Tyrion saw at once. A lady's bedmaid wore finer garb than a scullion, and often even a jewel or two. Shae should be pleased by that, and Cersei thought Lady Tenda tedious and hysterical, and lollies a bovine lackwit. She was not like to pay them any friendly calls.
Shae found out about Tyrion's marriage before Sansa did. "There is something you must hear," Tyrion told her. "On the morrow I am to be wed to Sansa Stark. I know." "How could you know?" "Some page was telling Sir Talad about it. He heard from a serving girl who heard Sir Keban talking to your father. She wriggled out of her dress, naked underneath. I don't care. She's only a little girl. You'll give her a big belly and come back to me." Some part of him had hoped for less indifference. Shae is all the love you're ever like to have, he thought bitterly. Shae's entire vibe in Game of Thrones was rewritten for TV, and George R.R. Martin was into it. In the books, Shae is a Lannister camp follower. She never truly loves Tyrion. She's there for the gold, plain and simple. But on the show, George said she's much more sincere in her love for Tyrion. That change gave their relationship real emotional weight and made her betrayal sting so much more. Another big switch, her origin. In the books, she's just a nobody from Westeros, but on the show, she's from Lorath, one of the free cities. Why? The actress, Sibel Kekilli, had a German accent, and the showrunners liked her so much they tweaked the backstory to make it work. In the books, we get a small glimpse into Shae's betrayal of Tyrion Lannister and how she was bribed by Cersei to stand as a witness against him. Shae. Her name was Shae, Cersei remembered after discovering Shae's body near Tywin Lannister's. They had last spoken the night before the dwarf's trial by combat, after that smiling Dornish snake offered to champion him. Shae had been asking about some jewels Tyrion had given her, and certain promises Cersei might have made, a manse in the city and a knight to marry her. The Queen made it plain that the Aur would have nothing of her until she told her where Sansa Stark had gone. "You were her maid. Do you expect me to believe that you knew nothing of her plans?" she had said. Shae left in tears. In the books, the riot of King's Landing was way worse than the Fat High Septon being ripped apart limb by the mob, like we saw in the TV show. However, it takes a day to find Sir Preston Greenfield, one of the Kingsguard, because everyone is looking for a knight clad head to toe in white, but he was hacked and stabbed to death so much that his white had all turned to brown and red. Sir Aaron Santagar, the Master at Arms from Dawn, has his head bashed in with cobblestones. Lolly Stokeworth, the lady Bronn marries in Season 5, Episode 2, is found later after being gang half 100 times. Tyrick Lannister, who was Kevan Lannister's second son after Lancel, goes missing, and Jaime suspects that Varys kidnapped him and knew about the riot ahead of time. However, it might have also been Littlefinger who planned it, since the incident that started the riot of a woman with her supposedly dead baby seems kind of staged. In George's original 1993 draft of A Game of Thrones, there was a plague infesting most of Westeros, including King's Landing at the start of the story, and the former Hand of the King, Jon Arryn, was killed by it, or so it was made to look like he did. Moreover, instead of Howland Reed, it was Jon Arryn who accompanied Ned to the Tower of Joy and found him after Lyanna died, which means he would know that Jon Snow is the son of Rhaegar Targaryen. However, in this version, Ned has no recollection of Lyanna's death, and her "promise me" line doesn't exist, so either George hadn't thought to foreshadow Jon's parentage in that way, or maybe it didn't exist yet, and Jon Snow was just Ned's illegitimate son. So the plague that George removed probably will come to Westeros in the Winds of Winter through Jon Connington or Daenerys' invasion, since it could either be grayscale or a winter fever before the arrival of the White Walkers. Lena Headey delved deep into her strained relationship she shared with her ex-boyfriend Jerome Flynn, unveiling the startling reasons behind their fallout. We hated each other. we had nothing to say to each other, both on and off the set of Game of Thrones. Flynn echoed her sentiments, asserting, "We're both adults and professional. We leave our personal differences aside when we step onto the set." Insiders privy to the show's production revealed instances where the drama led to heated arguments and on-set clashes between the two stars, causing disruptions and delays in shooting schedules. Sources allege that the rift between Heidi and Flynn emerged around 2014 during season 4 filming, coinciding with reports of there being a no scenes together clause in their respective contracts, which becomes very obvious in season 7 through multiple random instances. Lolly Stokeworth is most well known to show-only watchers for marrying Bronn of the Blackwater in the show, but not much is known about her otherwise. The books have much darker events for her though. For example, during the King's Landing riots, the one where Sansa was almost until she was saved by the Hound, Lolly's was pulled from her horse and by 100 men. She is later found wandering on the streets.
In the books, Jaime Lannister trains with his one hand with Ilyn Payne. In the show, it's with Bronn, and we get many comedic scenes and dialogue. However, in the books, we see a different dynamic as Ilyn can't talk as his tongue was removed, and he also can't read or write. This allows Jaime to get things off his chest and divulge secrets without fear of Ilyn telling anyone. Ilyn also smiles and taunts him during these moments when Jaime accuses him of sleeping with Cersei as well. Tyrion Lannister was not pleased that Bronn was given lordship following the Battle of Blackwater. "What's that ugly thing on your chest?" Bronn grinned. "My knightly sigil, a flaming chain, green on a smoke-grey field. By your Lord Father's command. I'm Sir Bronn of the Blackwater now, imp. See you don't forget it." Tyrion put his hands on the featherbed and squirmed back a few inches against the pillows. "I was the one who promised you knighthood, remember?" Tyrion did not like that "by your Lord Father's command" at all. Lord Tywin had wasted little time. Moving his son from the Tower of the Hand to claim it for himself was a message anyone could read, and this was another. "I lose half my nose, and you gain a knighthood. The gods have a deal to answer for." His voice was sour. Tyrion Lannister was annoyed with Bronn for seeing Alalea at the brothel. Alalea was used by Tyrion as a cover to see Shae, and it was Alalea who was tortured by Cersei as she thought she was Tyrion's lover. Tyrion was on his third cup before Pod finally returned with Bronn in tow. "I hope the boy had a damn good reason for dragging me out of Chataea's," Bronn said as he seated himself. "Chataea's?" Tyrion said, annoyed. "It's good to be a knight. No more looking for the cheaper brothels down the street," Bronn grinned. Now it's Alalea and Mary in the same featherbed with Sir Bronn in the middle. Tyrion had to bite back his annoyance. Bronn had as much right to bed Alalea as any other man, but still. I never touched her, much as I wanted to, but Bronn could not know that. He should have kept his thing out of her. He dare not visit Chataea's himself. How did Bronn foil Cersei Lannister's plan in the books? Cersei had intended for Bronn to have a mishap resulting in his death. However, Bronn had other ideas. "You are telling me Sir Balman challenged Bronn to single combat?" Cersei asked. "He said it would be a simple... The lance is a knight's weapon," he said, "and Bronn was no true knight. Balman said he would unhorse him and finish him as he lay stunned." Felice Stokeworth replied, "Bronn was no knight. That was true. Bronn was a battle-hardened killer. Your cretin of a husband wrote his own death warrant. A splendid plan. Dare I ask how it went awry?" Bronn drove his lance through the chest of Balman's poor horse. Balman, his legs were crushed when the beast fell. He screamed so piteously." "Sellswords have no pity," Cersei might have said. "I asked you to arrange a hunting mishap, an arrow gone astray, a fall from a horse, an angry boar. There are so many ways a man can die in the woods, none of them involving lances." In the books, there's a funny moment that occurs when Jaime Lannister meets his Aunt Gina Lannister, who was offering her condolences for Tywin's death. Genna Lannister had been a shapely woman in her youth, always threatening to overflow her bodice. Now, the only shape she had was square. Her face was broad and smooth, her neck a thick pink pillar, her bosom enormous. She carried enough flesh to make two of her husband. Jaime hugged her dutifully and waited for her to pinch his ear. She had been pinching his ear for as long as he could remember, but today she forbore. Instead, she planted soft and sloppy kisses on his cheeks. "I am very sorry for your loss. I had a new hand made of gold," he showed her. "Very nice. Will they make you a gold father too?" Lady Genna's voice was sharp. "Tywin was the loss I meant." In the books, we get some insight from Genna Lannister as to the few times Tywin Lannister actually smiled. Is it true that Tywin was smiling on his bier? "He was rotting on his bier. It made his mouth twist," Jaime replied. Was that all it was that seemed to sadden her? Men say that Tywin never smiled, but he smiled when he wed your mother and when Aerys made him hand. When Tarbeck Hall came crashing down on Lady Ellen, that scheming bitch, Ty claimed he'd smiled then. And he smiled at your birth, Jaime. I saw that with my own eyes. You and Cersei, pink and perfect, as alike as two peas in a pod. Well, except between the legs. What lungs you had. In the books, we get an interesting line from Genna Lannister about who her brother Tywin's real son is. "Who will protect us now?" Jaime kissed her cheek. "He left a son." "Aye, he did. That is what I fear the most, in truth." That was a queer remark. "Why should you fear?" "Jaime," she said, tugging on his ear, "sweetling, I have known you since you were a babe at Joanna's breast. You smile like Geryon and fight like Tig, and there's some of Kevin in you, else you would not wear that cloak. But Tyrion is Tywin's son, not you. I said so once to your father's face, and he would not speak to me for half a year. Men are such thundering great fools, even the sort who come along once in 1,000 years." In the books, we learn from Genna Lannister that a 10-year-old Tywin Lannister had Walder Frey shaking in fear. "Did you love him?" Jaime heard himself ask. His aunt looked at him strangely. "I was 7 when Walder Frey persuaded my lord father to give my hand to M, his second son, not even his heir. Father was himself a third-born son, and younger children crave the approval of their elders. Frey sensed that weakness in him, and father agreed for no better reason than to please him. My betrothal was announced at a feast with half the West in attendance. Ellen Tarback laughed, and the Red Lion went angry from the hall. The rest sat on their tongues. Only Tywin dared speak against the match. A boy of 10. Father turned as white as mare's milk, and Walder Frey was quivering," she smiled. "How could I not love him after that? That is not to say that I approved of all he did, or much enjoyed the company of the man he became. But every little girl needs a big brother to protect her. Tywin was even big when he was little." In the books, Jaime's Aunt Genna was given Riverrun with her husband who was a Frey, and she tells him, "This is your seat," Lady Genna told her husband. "It is for you to hold it. If you cannot do that, put it to the torch and run back to the rock." Lord Emmon rubbed his mouth. "To be sure, Riverrun is mine, and no man shall ever take it from me." He gave Edmure Tully one last suspicious look, as Lady Genna drew him from the solar. "Is there any more that you would care to tell me?" Jaime asked Edmure when the two of them were alone. "This was my father's solar," said Tully. "He ruled the Riverlands from here, wisely and well. He liked to sit beside that window. The light was good there, and whenever he looked up from his work, he could see the river. When his eyes were tired, he would have Cat read to him. Littlefinger and I built a castle out of wooden blocks once, there, beside the door. You will never know how sick it makes me to see you in this room, Kingslayer. You will never know how much I despise you." He was wrong about that. I have been despised by better men than you, Edmure. Jaime called for a guard. Take his lordship back to his tower and see that he's fed. Anyway, subscribe for more.